Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of K-Fave Comparisons. My name, as always, is Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer, and we are back for the Season 5 premiere. I am so excited. I am joined once again by the king of the K-Fave kickflip, Mr. Wex breakin Lawson. Wex, how we living today, bud?
Dude, living great. You know, sipping on a little bit of tequila and squirt. Feeling good. I'm ready for the new season. We had a fucking crazy weekend of wrestling that just happened here in Nashville that we're going to be able to talk about. So much meat on the bone in this episode. So much fun stuff. We got a little top five. Lots of great stuff. I'm looking forward to the new format. Looking forward to the new season. And hell yeah, buddy. I'm ready to get into it.
I am excited. I am super pumped about the entire situation. Season 5, we got a new look. We got a new sound. I'm super pumped about it. Today we are talking, our list for the day is going to be the top 5 SummerSlam moments of all time to us personally, obviously. And yeah, I mean, the meat and potatoes of these shows from now on in Season 5, they're just going to be us hanging out, talking about the news, seeing what's happening, kind of like relating that, bunny trailing here a little bit in there, fantasy booking a little bit here and there. Wrestling's getting fun again, you know? We're like in like the rebirth of the Attitude Era almost, I feel like, and it's kind of cool. I mean, this is the first time this has happened. Like, we're on new ground here with Vince McMahon not involved in the major pro wrestling scene. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, Season 5, I'm excited. Wex, how hype for you, man? How hype for you?
I'm super excited, even though it's sort of bittersweet. This is the last season of Kayfabe Comparisons, but I feel like, you know, this format, it's pretty good. It may stick and it may lead into something else. So, you know, I'm really excited for what we're doing here. And yeah, dude, it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more loose, a lot more cool.
I agree. Yes, this is the 5th and final season. That is the announcement for this episode. This will be the final season of Kayfabe Comparisons. Wax kind of jumped the gun a little bit and spoiled it on Instagram, but it's okay. It's all right.
Hey, a few people were upset about it. A few people already posting comments. They were sad.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what?
I tried to assure them that this isn't, let's say, the last season of Wex breakin the Lawson and Mr. Know-It-All and possibly everybody else that's been involved with the show. It might not be the last you hear from us, but maybe you might hear from us in a different format at another time.
Absolutely.
But we're going to go all out for this final season of Kayfabe Comparisons because this is where everything started. So we're going to give it our all.
I'm super excited about it, man. I feel like a lot of podcasts just stop happening. Like, there's never like an ending point, and I kind of hate that. So like, I think it was kind of, I mean, it's kind of important instead of just kind of keep trying to change the format every single season. We figured, you know what, we'll do one last season of Kayfabe Comparisons. We'll keep all the OG fans happy, and we'll tie this thing off with a bow. So between SummerSlam season and WrestleMania of next year, WrestleMania's show next year will be the very last episode ever of Kayfabe Comparisons. I'm pretty excited about what we're going to do in Season 5 because this will definitely be the best season. So if you do listen to this show on a regular basis, please tell a buddy, tell a friend to subscribe to this show specifically because it's our last season, man. I mean, this is the last chance you're going to get to really hear the Kayfabe crew give you all of their hot takes. Yeah, man. So I'm excited. So without further ado, man, let's get into the hot takes. What do we got in the news and notes? What's the haps around town, Mr. Wex breaking the loss?
I mean, I guess we'll go ahead and start off with, you know, the biggest event of the weekend that's happened in the past few days, which was SummerSlam here in Nashville, Tennessee over the weekend. This was Triple H's first show that his first pay-per-view, not first show, but first pay-per-view where he has complete creative control and he's in charge. And you could definitely feel the difference, see the difference, and had just – it wasn't completely different, but you could feel that slight little change in the show, and lots of crazy shit happened. So what do you think was the biggest highlight of the night?
I mean, I have mixed feelings about it because I feel like I actually thought the Last Man Standing match was great, man. I thought they did a really good job. I know it's I know
same
people
here. I usually hate that stipulation, but they made it work.
Yeah, they made it work, and I know like people were rightfully so tired of Lesnar and Reigns. Like, I get that, but that was, I mean, they topped themselves, and that's
a good
really
way to
hard
like
to do.
end it.
Yeah, it's a great way to end it. That's a great ending match. Like, that's storybook level match, I think. Not that it was the greatest, you know, bell to bell thing I've ever seen, but it's a moment. Like, that's a highlight reel moment that will be associated with the WWE for a very, very long time. And I actually thought the storyline of Rollins and Riddle was really good. I thought that the fact that they didn't have a match was almost better. Even though I feel like the way that they're slow playing it instead of just hot shotting it makes a lot more sense to me. Like, I feel like people think that they're killing the angle, but I don't think that's what's happening. I think they're just really letting it draw out, which is what I think especially Raw and the WWE product needs. So yeah, I mean, SummerSlam. I mean, Logan Paul too. I mean, you got to give the devil his due. He was phenomenal, even though I think he's an asshole. But I mean, he was really good.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. That's like one of the only matches that I didn't watch on the show was the Logan Paul. I just saw the highlights of the splash and shit. And not to say that I don't.
Good match.
I mean,
really good
I've
match.
heard it's great, but I've just, it literally ended right as I tuned in. I was just like, whatever. I'll go back and catch that later. But I've heard like people saying like, oh, he's better than Adam Cole and he's better than this person. That I'm like, dude, come on, take it back. He did a few big spots. He did some basic stuff. I'm sure he's good at that, but like, don't fade somebody like Adam fucking Cole.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a limit, but I will say that like for his like second or third match ever, he's very, very good. I would argue that.
Oh no, he's great, but come on,
I would listen to the arguments that would say his third match is better than Adam Cole's third match. That could possibly be true.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, he's in Adam Cole's third match wasn't in this, think about the situation, the setup. It's like all completely different. Like he already has that star power. He already has like, the whole thing is different because they care about Logan Paul. In Adam Cole's third match, no one gave a fuck and knew who Adam Cole was.
Yeah.
So that takes it there. Like, because of course, the physical stuff, like the athleticism, you have to have that. But like the psychology part, like it's a lot easier when people already care about you. Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, the main event though, like the Roman Reigns and Lesnar, like, dude, that's going to be a forever image of Lesnar driving the fucking tractor. Like that's going to be one of those iconic things. That's going to be a classic WWE moment. Like you said, it wasn't the best match, but it worked for what it was. And like someone like me who doesn't really give a fuck about that, I was like, oh, okay. It was really fun. I watched that. And, like I'm saying, I usually don't give a fuck about because we've seen it so many times, but I was actually pretty hyped on that. But besides that, I agree with what you were saying about that. But I thought the return of Dakota Kai, Bayley, and Io Shirai, who now is Io Sky, that's a Triple H move 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good move too. I think the women's division definitely needed the boost at this point. They've got. I mean, I would argue that I still think WWE has the best women's roster. I still think that they have the best.
Now they 100% without a doubt do.
I mean, I just don't think that's debatable. I mean, I do think that like there are better women elsewhere, but I think that as a division, the WWE women's division is the best. And I think
Knockout's coming in a close second.
Yeah.
Actually, not even anymore. They used to be. Like lately, they've kind of been pretty trash.
Yeah, I mean, AEW's is the worst, no doubt about it. I mean,
I'll say at least in the past few weeks they've been trying to get better, and I will say they did a good job the past few weeks. Just give them that.
Yeah, I mean, the Toxic Attraction thing in NXT is doing really well. Mandy Rose is definitely benefiting from being in NXT. Like, I don't watch that show, but I have.
And they got Medusa on there, kind of like doing a little like off-screen, like non-in-ring role, and that's pretty sick.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, she's almost like the new Regal there, which is cool. I'm not opposed to that at all. I do want to. I'm interested in to see. I mean, let's actually kind of know we're like just kind of bunny trailing here, but. Do you think that NXT will go back to kind of more of what it was now that Triple H is in power?
I sure hope so. And that's pretty much like what I've heard is that Triple H and Shawn Michaels are already just kind of like ready to sort of slowly transition back into that because Triple H, it's kind of leading to SummerSlam week and kind of go back into that. They had some WWE tryouts here in Nashville over SummerSlam weekend. And WWE tryouts right now are only like, these collegiate athlete bullshit, the stuff that, Nick Khan, Dunn, and Bruce Pritchard and McMahon put back in like, oh, we're going to go with like sports athletes and turn them into wrestlers. Apparently it was a disaster. Multiple people got injured, multiple concussions.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was just not good. So Triple H is already basically people are saying Triple H is going to go back to signing fucking young indie wrestlers who he can help polish and because they actually know the basics. Because
I mean, I think that's the best call.
because NXT, dude, that's the reason NXT was great, because he would get young guys in the indies or like guys who are just like sick veterans, like the combination. It's
no, I agree.
But I'd hope it's going back in that direction, because I'd like to watch NXT again, because NXT used to be my favorite WWE product brand, period.
Yeah, for sure. They got to bring to me, you make SmackDown and Raw one brand again. You bring the titles all back to one, and then you have NXT be your second brand. You know what I mean? Like and put that back on the road. Put takeovers back on as pay-per-views. I feel like that would be way better too, especially if you have the main roster only having 6 to 8 pay-per-views a year total. That would make it better. I mean, I genuinely feel like that's what. Like, I don't get to watch a regular TV. Like this week, I watched Raw and I watched Dynamite. Friday is as you're hearing this, but I haven't obviously watched SmackDown or Rampage. I won't be able to. So I don't really get
live this week. So
yeah, I mean, if I get a chance, I will watch it, of course. But it's like, what I'm saying is that's a lot of wrestling that I have to dedicate to watch live throughout a week. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of an insane amount. And I feel like the reason why interest stays high is because AEW doesn't have a bajillion pay-per-views a year. They put on these like TV specials. Now I think they should have like maybe 1 or 2 more a year, but not more than that. Now if they start doing these Ring of Honor shows like they've been doing, that'll be enough. That's fine. But that's kind of what I think that WWE should do as well. I think they should have NXT have their own pay-per-views, kind of like Death Before Dishonor type thing. And they had like 2 guys from quote unquote AEW, and the rest were like, Ring of Honor guys,
Yeah.
So I think that's the way to do it. And I really hope that I agree. I hope that NXT does go back to what it was before with Triple H kind of being at the helm.
Yeah, that would be just pretty much good business for everybody. So also this weekend in Nashville during SummerSlam weekend on Sunday, which kind of capped everything off, was the final match of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And it was a fucking spectacle. I was there live.
Yeah.
It was insane. Best match on the card, I'll go ahead and say it right here, was the AAA Showcase, which was Bandito versus Rey Fenix versus Laredo Kid versus Black Taurus from Impact.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude,
it was a great match.
It was I'll tell you here. The crowd probably got just as loud during that match as they did for the main event. Like, that match was insane.
Yeah.
Some of the craziest spots you'll ever see in your life. And if you know any of these wrestlers that I mentioned, it's just like, dude, go back and watch that match. But the thing we want to come to talk about here is the main event. Ric Flair's match. Did you actually get to see the main event?
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole show.
Oh, everything.
So I like that. Like, you saw it from a live perspective, and then I saw it from like the production perspective, right?
So did that translate on TV? That lucha match, like how hyped the crowd was for it?
Not really. The crowd, no.
Oh,
it was a good match. It was, but I mean, if you get a chance, you should watch more than just the highlights, because the production level for the show was awful. I mean, it was
no. Okay, hey, dude, let me tell you right here. It was awful live.
Okay.
So the mic kept like screeching and fucking up.
Oh, it was terrible.
Randomly during matches.
It was terrible.
The live TV audio would start playing through the arena of like the ring and shit, and like you hear like them talking, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, this is like worse than early levels of Dynamite, but
it was terrible. So, I mean, it really sucked. I mean, it was not good at all. Last match was awful. I mean, it was painfully bad.
Yes, I was laughing pretty much.
It was worse than any WC. It's the worst. I mean, I'm glad that Ric Flair survived. I'm glad that he got to sail off into the sunset. But it was embarrassingly bad. Like, I feel like if he watches it back, he'll probably laugh it off, but he'll be able to admit that it was dog shit. I mean, it was. Oh yeah. I mean, it was really embarrassingly bad.
It was a cool moment. It was cool.
It was worse than
Ric Flair's last match. Everybody was hype regardless because it was Ric Flair. But dude, I agree. Dog shit. Jay Lethal, Andrade, and Jeff Jarrett did their best to carry this thing. They did their goddamn best.
They did.
And I give them all the props in the world, because Ric Flair, I thought he was just going to pass out. He was literally just laying in the corner at one point.
Yeah.
Just laying in the fucking corner. It was horrible. He had no business out there, to be honest. I wanted to go to see if he possibly got horribly injured or died. but he didn't. He barely made it through. He's not making it to Puerto Rico. We've already talked about this. It's not going to happen, but I will say it was fun. I'm glad to say I was there. That lucha match was insane. Oh, yeah, and another thing. The second coolest thing on the show, my boy Mance Warner.
Yeah.
The badass motherfucker. He won the Bunkhouse Battle Royale and is getting a shot at the interim AEW World Championship this Friday on Rampage. I don't know if that's a result, but they did highlight that on some AEW television of him winning that, of Ric Flair's last match, which I think is fucking awesome. Mance Warner is he's a badass wrestler. I don't know, like if you're just a casual fan, he's been in he's GCW, been in MLW. He's more like a modern day Stone Cold type. Just, I don't know. He's badass. He's a badass beer drinking.
He's a modern day mid 90s Southern wrestler.
Yes, that's but what he's.
No. Let's just call it what it is, and that's awesome. Listen, I'm not here.
No, he can go in the ring though. I mean, he has the skill. That's just the character that he plays. But he can go. And people try to pin him as a deathmatch wrestler, and that's really not what he is.
No. I'm not saying I'm not saying that he can't go, but I'm saying that he has that old school. Even when he's not a high
like
spot guy.
Like an Arn Anderson type, like
that's what I mean. Like he's not like he can go for sure. I'm in no way trying to degrade him. I'm just trying to explain like to people that haven't seen him that like Mance Warner is like a 90s wrestler, but he's an Arn Anderson or
he's a 90s
like a Kurt Hennig, like
WCW wrestler in the modern day.
Yes,
that's kind of his. That's kind of his thing. It's kind of his
modern
shtick.
Day Bobby Eaton. You know what I mean? Like
yes, exactly.
That's who he is.
He's just, he's trying to win matches, hit the pay window, and drink some beer.
Yeah, hell yeah. Which is amazing.
He's the Southern Psycho, and the reason I became a fan of this dude, first time I seen him in a match, it was like a multi-man type like scramble match at a GCW, actually, or Southern Underground Pro, one of the two, but he pulled out a pocket knife. But it's no disqualification, so...
Pulled out a pocket knife.
The pocket knife's legal, and then the refs are like, all coming like, no, and like, that instantly sold me, and he comes out to Leonard Skinner, and he's great.
Did he use the pocket knife?
I mean, he tried. I mean, he did. The refs took it from him. It was just a spectacle thing. I've just never seen anyone pull out a fucking pocket
I really
knife.
hope you would have said like, yeah, he jabbed Joey Janela like 8 times in the forehead with it.
That would have been fantastic if he would have jabbed Joey Janela in the head, but like, just goddamn man, I got more hyped about Mance Warner than I did say Ric Flair in that match. But go ahead, moving on. Speaking of like GCW, New Japan, Southern Underground Pro, Black Label Pro, like all the other companies had sick matches all weekend. We got I don't know if any highlights we got. I know John Moxley had a really sick match against El Desperado when he got hard weighed with the fucking wooden spikes into his forehead, all deathmatch style. Lots of crazy cool shit, and just cool that this was culminating from Nashville, Tennessee. It's just like we never really had an event like this in the city.
Right.
Wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big. It's saying a lot. I mean, to see where the city itself has come from, like it's pretty cool to see it become more of a wrestling hub. Like I know it's always had like wrestling staples and wrestling. It's had some wrestling history for sure. But I mean, to be honest, there was a lull in the wrestling world in Nashville for a long time in the early to mid 2000s, and it was. I mean, I know TNA was here, but those were not the best of days, to be completely honest with you. So
the early fairground days of TNA, like we were just struggling, hanging on, but we were loving it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's cool to see Nashville get some shine. It's got some diehard wrestling fans that have lived through that,
Especially cool to see someone like Jeff Jarrett get shine on the main spots on both shows.
For sure. It's great to see. Yeah, man. I mean, I thought overall, listen, you know what? They delivered what they promised. I mean, I think that the hype packages that they put together pre-match probably helped the entire thing, honestly, because if there wasn't a story going into it, I don't think it would have sold as well. And I'm not saying that I think that's good. But I do think that, should it have happened? Maybe not. But was it the worst thing I've ever seen? The match? Maybe. The show, not so bad wrestling-wise. Production was, it's there. It's fun. Ric Flair, you know what? Look, he's one of the GOATs, of course. I feel like it's stupid to just say one person is the GOAT, but he's one of them. And if that's what he wanted, that's what he wanted. Good for him. Thanks so much, Ric Flair, for everything else. I appreciate it. If that was for you, I will gladly clap for you and say, go Nature Boy,
He's definitely like a first-team starter, all-time first-team, like, top 10 guy for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Can't take that away. But
no doubt.
So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into the first, I guess, even though it happened like a week ago, the first Raw with Triple H in charge. This is the first real Raw of the Triple H era. And, dude, you could see his fingerprints throughout this whole show. That fucking three-way with Mustafa Ali.
I know. Watch it. Watch out. That three-way.
But shit, no, that three-way match of Mustafa Ali, AJ Styles, and why am I shooting a blank here at the third person in that match? The Miz?
Yeah.
Yeah, The Miz, dude. What a fucking match. Like, Triple H let them go out there and just do their fucking thing. And, like, The Miz caught somebody on a dive. Yeah. I was just like, what's happening here? Like, that 450 pop up into the Styles. Like, dude, it was such a good match. And then the other three-way, it was pretty good. But we got Tommaso Ciampa versus AJ Styles, and the winner going to face Bobby Lashley, and then Ciampa gets it. Dude, Triple H is 100%. His dick is all over this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, I think that the overall tone of the show too was significantly more serious and more storyline driven. Which is good. I mean, I think that's all good. I mean, that's what WWE does. I don't think people should expect, like, we're not going to get AEW 2.0. Like, that's not, and I don't think we should. I do genuinely feel like AEW is just the best parts of WCW. And that's great. If that can last, that's an awesome alternative. Obviously, there were millions of people that loved it before. It'll work and could last forever as long as they don't run it into the ground. I don't think Tony Khan will. I think they're going to last for a long time, and that's awesome. But I think WWE should still be WWE. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Triple H is actually going to do a better job of putting it in the same lane. You know what I mean? Because I feel like over the past few years, Vince has tried to take it like all the way just casual. And I mean, that's fine to an extent, but it's like, these wrestlers are so good that you already built up in NXT under Triple H's regime that you can easily insert them into the main roster and have a more serious tone and still have a lot of entertainment, still have your comedic spots, still have all of that stuff there. I mean, it's a 3-hour show, there's no reason why you can't have both. And I think that Triple H is doing a really good job of slowly adapting into this new era.
Dude, and basically what the whole show was based on was that United States Championship. And we've been talking about recently how that and the Intercontinental belt have just kind of been like a joke, trash. It doesn't matter. But that fucking promo package, like highlighting the U.S. title, that alone, I was just like, all right.
So good.
Like, I was like, dude, I care. Like, that made me care about it. Just alone, that little bit of production, that package, JBL just talking about it and showing the different iterations. Like, I was like, dude, this actually makes me care about the title. Like, and they're actually treating it with some respect. And that's all you got to do. Like, that title hasn't meant shit since the John Cena Open Challenge. Like, literally. And I'm glad to see them kind of like giving it something. Because, I mean, with Roman Reigns holding the two main belts, you really have to treat your mid-card titles kind of like a little bit more prestigious. If he's not going to be on TV and defend it, you really got to highlight the other titles.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they'll do a slight build. Like, it feels like they're doing a soft build of the U.S. title, which I like. Hopefully they also do a soft build of the Intercontinental title, and then they blend them. I think that we can both agree that both titles, the way they look now, is awful. The new U.S. title doesn't look good. I like the look of the new Intercontinental title, but the problem is they've already pushed it into the dirt so far that it's like
even though it looks cooler, you have that perception and you just think shit when you see it.
And you know what? And I'm fine with the Intercontinental title going away and it just being the U.S. title because that's kind of more, that's kind of more WWE brand.
And I'll say the U.S. title design is is better. I feel like.
I agree. I agree, and that's fine. But I do think that you got to meld them together. I think that now's the time to like just because that's a run. You know what I mean? Like you can make that. You can get money out of that. You can get some drawing power out of that, and you can make somebody with that. We need to just dwindle the belts down. There's just too many. There's too many title belts. Like it's just not. It's overwhelming, and when you have that many titles, people just care less about them.
Yeah, I agree. I understand. Just like I feel like in AEW, we don't really need the TNT title anymore, and you need to kind of focus on that all Atlantic championship because that just looks cooler. And even though the TNT title has somewhat of a prestige, I don't know. Lately they've kind of soured the whole Scorpio Sky Sammy Guevara saga. Just kind of like If Wardlow can bring it back to some prestige because he's going to be defending against Jay Lethal, which that's pretty cool, but we got to do something else.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I totally agree. I also think that I do like the idea of Kip Sabian coming back and working against Pac. I think they kind of teased that on Dynamite, which I really like.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be great, dude, because that guy's really good and he hasn't been on TV in a long time, and I feel like they need a guy that is not a WWE guy, never has been, and can be on that level. That they do need more of that. I mean, this past Dynamite was the last Dynamite the first Dynamite that I've watched live in a long time, so I couldn't fast forward through anything. And the matches were good, but I do genuinely kind of understand the gripe now that a lot of it from the WWE fanboy side, where it's like, this does feel like, dude, it was Matt Hardy versus Christian, like.
Besides Matt Hardy versus Christian, I will say, we got the Ricky Starks Powerhouse Hobbs thing, which I think is fucking great.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's a great thing. I'm glad. I agree. And I think it's great that Team Taz is officially over. I think they ran its course, and it's kind of good to see everybody just kind of break out on their own and do their own thing. They really need to put the Rocket on Hook, though. They need to put him on Dynamite. He got the FTW title. That's just the beginning.
I know, but it's like I feel like he's. And maybe they're doing this by design, and it's just like now he's like Rampage is his show. Like he's a Rampage guy. Like that's his show. And it's like that's great and all, but like Dynamite's your flagship show. And you need more self-made creations there. A lot of it's very cool. It's cool to see Claudio, on there. It's cool to see him as a Ring of Honor champion. All of this is cool, but it's like, Jericho, it's like this has been going on for a while. Moxley, and it's like, you got Kingston. He's like the main guy right now. You got the Adam Page thing, but even with, the Bucks and everything, it's like their opponents are NXT guys, so it's like, I do understand the gripe. And I will say Adam Cole making that kid cry was fucking great heel. That was a great visual.
Making kids.
The fact that they really should have pushed that more. They really should have put like it was a flash. Like they only put that kid on the screen for a split second. It was not very long. And I DVR'd it. So like I have the live feed and I was like, dude, that's money. You've got to use. And they just
they'll probably call back on it. They'll probably be like, look, I guarantee you they'll call back on it. Cause think about it, they probably have more footage of it because they just cut to whatever the next thing was in the production. So I guarantee you, dude, they will play on that because that's just too good not to. Because when I saw that, I was like, dude, yes. Anytime I see a little kid cry, I know wrestling is working.
I agree. And it's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, Dynamite was a really good one this week, and I understand, like you said, the whole gripe there, but a lot of these guys who are ex-WWE guys or are ex-Ring of Honor guys anyways, and are ex-whatever guys, the only person that really is not is Jericho. And he's really the main dude, like the OG who's just holding it down, because if he was the first champion...
And I get that they have a lot of injuries right now, too. I understand that.
A lot. Way too many. Like, Adam Cole still can't fucking wrestle.
Yeah.
And, I'm excited for what's upcoming in Dynamite. It was a great show, like you said. Even the women's tag match, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And, sometimes they put on some dog shit, but this is actually, hopefully they can just keep going in the right direction. They hire Madison Rayne, who's making her debut, but she's basically going to be like a coach for the women's division and help do like some booking stuff.
To coach them for how? How is she going to coach them?
Oh, God damn.
I'm not trying to be rude, but come on, man. Like, for real?
mean, she has a lot of experience.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe they'll hire Van Hammer to help train. Like it's just.
Oh my God, Van.
I mean, she's not good in the ring, man. Like, listen, I'm not, and that's not like. What is that? What? Like what?
It's like a multiple time knockouts champion, right?
Okay. Yes, I understand. I mean, come on, man. Am I being an asshole right now? Can anybody argue that they've seen like really great Madison Rayne matches? Are you being serious right now?
Maybe she's like I don't know, like a fucking somebody who
promo like person. I mean,
maybe they know promos. Maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe she's good at coaching or something. Some people that were think about that. Think about all sports. Maybe people that weren't really that good at the sport.
It's like
great coaches.
Like she's like a Tori Wilson. Like she was decent in the ring, very popular, very hot. That's her vibe. That's awesome. Great backstage personality. Did actually relatively decent on commentary when she was in Impact. I'm trying to give her flowers here. I'm not just trying to poo-poo on her.
So
I'm just
maybe,
saying, like, for her to be hired as a wrestling coach is a little silly.
They want to help.
It would be like hiring Kelly as a wrestling coach. Was she over? Yes. Did she play a big, massive role at a time in wrestling? Yes, absolutely. Should she be a coach? Nah.
Hey, I'll make a relation. Think about this. Guess NXT's main coach, Matt Bloom, fucking A-Train Lord Tensai. I mean, he's pretty much the male version of it. He's just some lower mid-card guy.
No, that's true. That's facts.
So, I mean, maybe people I mean, think about all sports. There's like, bench players, dudes who never hit the field. They become great coaches.
That's facts.
They understand the sport. They understand the psychology of it. They're just maybe I would argue that Matt translate Bloom it. You get what I'm saying?
Significantly better bell to bell than Madison Rayne. Just throwing that out there, even for the division, significantly better bell to bell. But just throwing that out there.
Hey, but you get what I'm saying though. People who maybe not be the greatest at it,
I get what you're saying.
They understand it.
I get what you're saying, but in this wrestling podcast world, I think that's stupid, and they should not have hired her to be a coach. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand
about all
what
the
you're
people
saying.
She worked
I just don't agree with
toward her.
Like,
she had a lot of work with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. A lot of good people.
You can keep hard selling all you want. This is a miss for me, buddy. It's a miss.
I'm not trying to sell her. I really don't give a fuck about her. I barely even know what she looks like, to be honest.
I mean, I know exactly what she looks like. She's beautiful, but
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm just trying to, like, what if, she could. I feel like AEW just wouldn't fucking hire her for no reason, is all I'm saying. They must know something we don't know.
We'll see.
All right, I guess we'll see. But I guess, do you want to go ahead and move on into what's going to be our top 5 SummerSlam moments?
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. So we're going to wrap up SummerSlam season here. We're doing our top 5 ever SummerSlam moments. Initially I was like, it could be moments, it can be whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be a match. For me, it's matches, just because SummerSlam is an iconic pay-per-view staple that's been around for a very long time. So for me, it's definitely the matches, but it's more the moments in the matches themselves that made it for me. So for me, I'll start it off here with my top 5. So my number 5 greatest SummerSlam moment of all time has got to be Shawn Michaels overselling to Hulk Hogan in 2005. That's my number 5 moment. I think it's just it's the best screw you, that Shawn's kind of ever done without if you really watch it and you watch old Hulk Hogan matches, he wrestled it perfectly. It's just overselling was the thing in the 80s. So it's it really wasn't like that he oversold it. It's just that it's 2005, so he was a much better bell-to-bell wrestler. And it's kind of sticking it to the man, made you look strong, brother, type thing. And, number 5 overall SummerSlam moment for me is HBK Hogan. Where are you at on it?
Okay, my number 5 SummerSlam moment of all time, even though the one you just mentioned is actually my number 4, so I'll go ahead and get that out of the way.
Okay.
But my number 5 is Shane O'Mac versus Steve Blackman when
okay. Yeah.
The match, they climb up real high on the Titantron, he hits him with the kendo stick, and there's that gnarly ass fall.
That's a goodie.
That's a fucking classic. That's one of those one of the few big Shane McMahon bumps that always sticks in my head. That, him versus Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
All those. That's just, that one sticks in my mind so bad. And shout out to the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. He was just so badass. I don't know what it was.
Taking big bumps, being a big man.
You're just a badass motherfucker. But yeah, and then since I already said it, my number 4 was HBK versus Hulk Hogan. Shawn Michaels overselling like a motherfucker. Just
so good though. I went back and watched the most iconic gifts of all time.
He is just when he like falls out of the ring and Hogan throws his bandana at him, like
so good.
Goddamn, such a great
good.
one.
I think the big boot.
Yeah,
the big boot sell is my favorite part of that whole match.
Which one? What?
The big boot, where he takes the big boot, and like takes the bump, falls down.
Oh, I love when he's also on top of the turnbuckle and he's kicking him and he's bouncing like fucking 10 feet in the air. But fuck. Since that was my number 4, let's go ahead and get yours.
My number 4 SummerSlam moment of all time. This is a kid thing for me. I was about 9 years old when this match took place, but it's Taker versus Taker. It was just such a big thing to me as a kid. I loved it. You also having like the Leslie Nielsen vignettes that kind of led up to it were super funny. The Naked Gun movies at the time, this is how old I am, were pretty popular. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I mean, the match itself is not like very memorable. I mean, the match it wasn't really that great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that great. It was just the build up to it was cool. The idea that they pulled it off with like that, I think that's the most like charactery, gimmicky match that like just sticks out into my mind. Like it's burned in there. Granted, like 1994 is like the height of the gimmick era, you know. But yeah, to me, it's Undertaker versus Underfaker. It's got to be it, man. Just all the campaigning, the pizza boxes, and all the stuff they did that led up to it was just such a big thing. So yeah, Taker versus Taker for me is my number 4. What's your number 3, Wex?
Okay, coming in at number 3 for me, even though it eventually had a bittersweet ending, it was Finn Balor winning the first ever Universal Championship against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And as I said, bittersweet because he ended up getting an injury, tearing his labrum, and having to relinquish the title the next night. But that like whole point, like he was fresh out of NXT, straight onto Raw, beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Beat Roman Reigns, by the way, to fucking be in the main event, like get the title shot. And like he was going to be pushed to the moon in a fucking injury. It's like classic. It's like he's like the fucking he's like the Grant Hill of WWE. Like he was really good, had promising career, got an injury, and just kind of
he's a Derrick Rose, dude. He's a Derrick Rose.
I mean Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose
could have been the GOAT.
Derrick Rose, one of my all-time favorite players.
It's going to be a different podcast at some point, but yes, that dude could have been the GOAT had he not got hurt.
MVP, and then in the final minutes of a playoff game, for no reason being in there, tears his ACL. Never makes it back to what he was. Like he's still a great serviceable player.
Great player.
But he's not like, that.
And that's okay. I know we're sidebarring here, and no one gives a shit, but I do. And I'm going to say this: Derek Carr. Derek Carr. Jesus. Derek Rose should have been could have been the guy that like made the Bulls back to the Bulls. Like. He really could have been that guy. I know people are like, "Oh, you're crazy!" Like, dude,
no, he was that guy until the ACL and every other injury.
He was unreal. He was unreal. Like, he was so good.
MVP season was fucking insane.
I feel like the level of injury he had, most people I feel like wouldn't even have come back from, and he's come back and will still probably be in the Hall of Fame. He's still a really damn good player.
Hey, he's himself said he wants to be the Tom Brady of the NBA and play until he's like 42.
And he should. If he can, why not? People, I mean, I would put him on anything. I don't think there's no way he would go a season without getting anytime he wants to play.
Exactly. He's still like a good, either like a fringe starter or like a solid 6-man.
Absolutely. No doubt about it, man. Like that dude can still cut it. We're not, that's enough about regular sports for this show. Maybe a tease for what is to come in the very distant future. What was your number 3 again? Sorry.
That was it. That was my Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor and Rollins. Yep. Okay, my number 3 is HBK versus Razor, the second ladder match in 1995. Shit. That's my number 3. It's my bronze medal. And honestly, it's just because I'm a Sean mark too. I feel like he kind of became a babyface at WrestleMania 10, and then by the time he got to this era, it was like people really wanted to see him win. And when he won this one, even though like everything was great in the match except for the very end, and that's why people kind of tarnish it a little bit. But I actually thought that like, you know, some people were like, oh, you know, WrestleMania 10 was so much better. And WrestleMania 10 was better. I'm not saying it's not. But this was still a damn good match. Like, it was not bad by any means at all.
No, not at all.
Good, like, there were a couple awkward moments, but it wasn't like overwhelming obvious botches. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just unnecessary bias because we've seen other matches that are considered all-time greats that have just as many little slip-ups. So
of course, exactly. So to me, I mean, I think the only thing that hurt it is that it was so close to the rest. It was literally, WrestleMania 10 had happened and then they did it again, and it's like, nah, maybe they should have waited a little bit longer on it. But yeah, I mean, it's still number 3. Greatest all-time SummerSlam moment for me, HBK Razor. HBK finally winning the IC title in that ladder match. What's your silver medal, your number 2?
My number 2 silver medal is SummerSlam from, I want to say either 99 or 2000, but it was the first ever TLC match.
Okay, nice.
And that for me just sticks out so hard. I want to say it was 99.
Okay.
Or 2000, one of the fucking 2 years, but that was the same time that I met the Hardy Boys on Broadway after the first ever SmackDown in Nashville, Tennessee. I was so enthralled with the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, WWF The Music Volume 4. That belt, as you can see in the background, Stone Cold's holding, that was the fucking time. No Mercy. No, that was actually WrestleMania 2000 era. That's when wrestling for me was 100% all or nothing. I was 8, 9 years old. I was just locked in hard, played with the figures every day, had the Titantron answers with the ring. Just that match right there holds so much nostalgia, and it's a fucking fantastic match.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That's a solid choice. I didn't even think to put that on here. Okay, so when we're doing these lists, it's literally off the dome. I think about a time, I don't do any research. I don't look online. I just think okay, what do I honestly off the top of my head, these moments that stick out to me and the biggest ones. So that's a good one. I forgot about it being at a SummerSlam, but that's a really good one. For sure. My number 2, my bronze medal is Bret Hart versus Bulldog.
Not your bronze medal, your silver medal.
Or my silver, my bad. My number 2, my silver medal. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Wex. Is Bret Hart versus the Bulldog in Wembley Stadium, 1992 for the Intercontinental title. That was I think the first time that I had seen wrestling be wrestling, the kind even close to the way we know it now, which not even really. It's more a European style. Because they worked in Europe, but it was a very, very, very good technical wrestling match, especially for the time. I mean, I think it would hold up today. I think you could have that match today on Triple H's Raw or AEW, and it would be good. It would succeed. It definitely made Bulldog, and I think it's Bulldog's best match of his career. Period. And I think it definitely elevated Bret from the Intercontinental level. I think after even though he lost, it's okay, well, that dude's the next thing is for him to go and be the champ. That it just made sense for his growth and his ascension that he was going to be that guy, and he was. So for me, it's Bret and Bulldog. That's my number 2, my silver, as Wex liked to correct me there.
Well, that's crazy that we're finally going to get our first UK pay-per-view real one.
Yeah.
Since then, finally coming up here soon with WWE.
30 years, man. That's crazy. 30 years later.
Because the Insurrection doesn't count.
No, of course not.
That was an exclusive.
Yeah, that's not the same. And then we had that one night only, which was also kind of an exclusive.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, man. So what was your number 2?
My number 2 was the TLC.
The TLC, that's right. So what's your number 1 overall?
Okay, so my number 1 overall, I haven't heard you say this yet, so I'm pretty sure our number 1 overalls, I'm going to go ahead and call it's going to be the same. I think it's going to be the same. And mine is HBK versus Triple H street fight return match after being gone for fucking forever, after losing a smile and hurting his back.
Yeah, no doubt.
We've already covered this before on the show, and we've talked about it many times. What else can I say? It's HBK's first match back after only special guest refereeing and cutting promos and us him being the mystery man for 5 years?
Yeah.
It's after he found Christ, I guess. I don't know if it was a gimmick or if it was for real, but he came back, and that was the beginning of, honestly, people don't like to say this, but arguably I'll say I think it may have been the better run of the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say better, but it's because they're so different. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're so different. I think as a heel, the 90s work is the best ever. And as a babyface, I think the 2000s run was better. But yeah, I mean, either way, it's like and they wrestled different. He wrestled differently. I mean, he was not the same. He didn't do the same move set. I mean, of course, he still had his main primary things: the flying forearm and the kip up and the elbow drop and sweet chin music and all that. But I mean, he changed a lot of his style. He was doing a lot different things. He had his main trademark stuff. But the wrestling ability. I mean, I've said it several times, but to me, it might not be the greatest match of all time, but to me personally, the most impactful wrestling match of my life is this match, is Shawn Michaels Triple H 2002. I mean, it just meant so much to me as a fan. Yeah, I mean, it's the greatest SummerSlam moment of all time. I will say this though, for the top 5 for both of us, we did pretty good as far as like being pretty diverse in our choices. Yeah, man, I'm pretty hype about it. I mean, kind of sad to see SummerSlam season go, but how do you feel about the top 5?
Pretty cool. I mean, I knew we were going to be pretty diverse, but that number 1, just because even though I'm a Stone Cold mark, Shawn Michaels is definitely my very close number 2. So I knew we were going to agree on that one, especially when I didn't hear it the whole time, and I was like, it's got to be. It's just
got to be.
How can you deny that one?
It's got to be. It's number 1 on my list. Like
number
honestly,
1 in my heart.
If I got to show the backstory video as well, and could show anybody one match, it would be this. Like, no doubt about it. Like, zero debate. It's this one for sure.
Those promos were so good.
If I could show them not the matches, but just all the story leading up to it, and then the match itself, I feel like there's nothing better in professional wrestling. I could be completely honest and say that. I don't think there's anything better than that, in my opinion.
It's money. It's poetic.
It's money. It's good stuff. And so, you know what? It's season 5, man. I'm super excited. It's the first episode of season 5. And I really wanted to start a new game here on the show. Instead of doing trivia, we're going to do this game called Who Am I? So basically, the way it's going to work, Wex, is I'm going to pick a random wrestler. I'm going to give you 3 facts about this wrestler. And then you have 1 minute exactly to ask me as many yes or no questions as possible, and you get 3 guesses. So you can ask me, let's say like 4 or 5 yes or no questions, make a guess. You get it wrong, you can ask me as many yes or no questions as you want, as long as it all falls in this 1 minute time span, and you can get another guess, and then you get another guess. Once you get the 3rd one, you're out. You'll be clear on the rules here. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready for it. I'm probably going to be out quickly if I don't guess it right, but I'll give it a good try. Give it a good college try.
Okay. All right. Let me get my stopwatch ready here. I'm super excited about this, guys. I got to be totally honest. Okay. So, I am a 2-time world champion. I am a 3-time intercontinental champion. I am currently active on the roster. Who am I?
Currently active on the roster of what company?
It's only yes or no questions.
Does he wrestle for AEW?
No.
Does he wrestle for WWE?
Yes.
Drew McIntyre?
No. That's one down. You're 30 seconds left.
Sheamus?
No. That's 2 guesses. Got to give me more yes or no questions.
Is he on SmackDown?
No.
Okay. Does he have a tag team partner?
Not currently.
Not currently. Dolph Ziggler?
Dude, with like 2 seconds left. Well, you got it. That's amazing. Yes. Good for you. Yes, it's Dolph Ziggler. That's awesome. Well done. That's really, I'm very proud of you. That's awesome. Yeah.
All right. So I guess it's my turn to do it to you.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get a stopwatch ready. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and hit it. And
no, wait. You got to give me the 3 facts first, and then you say,
okay. I am a 2-time WWE World Tag Team Champion with 2 different partners.
Okay.
I am a wrestler that was diagnosed with testicular cancer back in 2004. I am still active on the independent scene, and my last match was against Joey Janela. And start.
Am I in AEW?
No.
Am I in WWE?
No.
Am I a heavyweight?
No. Uh-oh, getting close. 5.
Was I in a faction?
Yes.
Am I X-Pac?
No, and you finally passed it. You lost.
Who am I?
You are Scotty Too Hottie.
Oh, what faction was he in?
Too Cool.
I don't know if that's a faction.
That was a 3-man. That was a faction. Rikishi?
Is that a faction?
With more than 2 people make it a faction.
I feel like that should be the question for our Twitter or like our social media. Like, all right, on TikTok.
What makes it a faction?
Is Too Cool a faction? I feel okay.
Three people make it a faction.
I think you have to have 3. I think you have to, 3 is the minimum, and it can be a faction. But normally, I wouldn't. I mean, there's only like a few 3-man factions in the history of wrestling, in my opinion. Like, I don't think the Freebirds are a faction, but I do think the Shield is a faction.
What about the New Day?
I think that no, I don't think the New Day is a faction. I think they're
a faction. I think the original The Elite are a faction. It's a mini faction that my opinion, anything beyond a tag team, if you add the third person, it becomes a faction. Because
what if it's okay? So what if it's a tag team and a manager?
That could still be a faction. That's
No. See, I disagree. I really think you need to have 4. Like, I mean, there's a few factions that are 3. A few throughout history. But I think that you got to have 4.
I don't know. That's the debate. Is it
the Horsemen kind of prove
you need 3 or 4 to make a faction?
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't say that's not fair. That's not fair. What makes the better faction? 3 or 4? Because like I know there have been factions of 3, but I don't know. I still don't like. I don't think Too Cool is a faction.
I think they are. I think anything the Mean Street Posse faction 3 people.
Yeah, but there were 4 of them.
There was only 3.
There's 4 of them.
Rodney, Pete Gas, Joey Abs, and Rodney whatever. That was only 3. Plus Shane, but Shane's not.
Shane was definitely in the Mean Street Posse.
The Mean Street Posse was 3 people. I don't know if you're listening to this. Go look it up. It's 3 people. I swear. Who's besides Kate? Joey Abs, Pete Gas, and Rodney whatever. But who's the 4th guy?
I don't know, but he was there.
Exactly. There's only
sweater
3.
vest involved.
That's Joey Abs.
You already said him.
Joey Abs, Pete Gas, and Rodney whatever. Is it Rodney Mack? Was he?
No, it wasn't Rodney Mack. Jesus Christ.
God, speaking of Rodney Mack, that was a fucking tough match to watch. Him and Tyrus. That was like,
oh my God. Why are they still wrestling?
Worst match of 2022.
Good God.
If he ends up doing a top 5 worst, that's going to be in there. That was horrible.
My goodness. Rodney Mack. Ugh. God bless you, man. Back in the day, you could go, but Jesus Christ.
Give it up, buddy.
Yeah, give it up. Give it up, man. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it up. It's been, this has been one of my more favorite episodes. It's season 5. I really do like Who Am I, though. We're going to have to like make a whole show out of Who Am I's, like just do that every now and then because that's super fun. Damn, I thought for sure it was going to be X-Pac, man.
Dolph Ziggler was one of my first choices, dude. I was like, nah, it's not. No, it's not Dolph Ziggler, but I'm glad I fucking tossed it in there at the last second.
I thought for sure it was going to be X-Pac. Wow.
Well, I guarantee you next week I'll have somebody else fucking good.
I'm excited about it. Next week's going to be awesome. If you didn't know, you can always find the show at KayfabeCom on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the show at KayfabeComPod on TikTok. You can find us at Kayfabe Comparisons on Facebook and on YouTube. Just be sure to follow us all there. You can always find your boy, Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer, at Daniel Daybreak on literally every kind of platform of all time. Just Daniel Daybreak, all one word. Yeah, that's me. So yeah, Wex, where can people find you, man?
And as always, you can find your boy Wex Breaking the Lawson at Wex Breaking the Lawson on mostly all of your social medias, and we're gonna be heavy on the TikTok as usual. And yeah, just stay tuned. We're almost to 200 followers, 200 subscribers on the TikTok. Once we get to that, we're gonna cut something special. We'll have a vote for it this time. We will do it for real. And then ride on out for this last season, you know. Drink a beer with us. Burn one if you burn one. If you don't. But enjoy it and listen to it. Have a good time.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Hit subscribe, man. Tell a friend. It's our last season, man. It's our last season. Season 5. We're going to be killing it between now on everything AEW and WWE here until WrestleMania next year. So it's going to be a long season. We got plenty of time. We're going to wind it down the right way. Kayfabe comparisons is going to be awesome. It's going to be our best season yet. I'm excited. That's going to do it for us this week. We will see you guys next week. We're out.
Holla.